Welcome back to Sandown International Raceway, where we have the Formula Fords on the circuit. A round of the Motorcraft Driver to Europe series this afternoon. Big field of cars, and this is one category that always supplies tremendous racing. Let's have a look at the field and how they line up. Stephen Moody has pole position in the Van Diemen. Mark Larkham starts out of position number 2. Andrew Gubb from 3. Martin Carpenter from position number 4 today. Out of 5 is Robert Bennett in the Van Diemen. Starting out of 6 is Mike Mortimer in the Van Diemen. From 774, Peter Salomon. From 8, car number 6, Garry Jones, an old friend of ours. From 9, car number 5, Roger Martin. And rounding out the 10 is, of course, Chris Maddich in car number 66.
So well in practice, 152.78, Mark Larkham, 152.87. A couple of the established
stars. Shouldn't be too long before we have the field lined up. A few little technical difficulties, as they say. It really has been the day from. Not only do we have them today, but apparently the organisers have them as well.
So Steve Moody recording a 152.78. Mark Larkham a 152.87, and then the first of the guys that we've been seeing a lot of throughout the year, Andrew Gubb and Martin Carpenter, 52.9 and 53.2. And this event to be run over 10 laps. Big field of cars, 32 in total. The Motorcraft Formula Ford Driver to Europe Series is attracting bumper fields. Last weekend, when we went to Lakeside Raceway in Queensland, we detailed just how popular this class of racing is. And we spoke about some of the different chassis involved and the costs involved and the way that you can become involved in Formula Ford racing. And it's just going from strength to strength at the moment. Battle in the series is red hot and alive. Robert Bennett's qualified well in car number 7, position 5 in the RF82. Actually, that's wrong. That's his car, pardon me, is his self-built car, the car that we spoke about last weekend. The entry details are incorrect here. Mike Mortimer's qualified position 6, car number 8. Garry Jones in position 8, car number 6. Garry just keeps on coming up with those amazing times in that older vehicle of his. David Roberts, quite surprisingly, a long way back on the grid. There's car number 8, that's Mike Mortimer. Behind him there, car number 5 is Roger Martin, the Snickers entry. Just getting himself back into position. 10 laps the journey. Martin Carpenter, the man being looked after by Greg Siddle this year, and alongside him, car number 9, Andrew Gubb in the Today FM car from Sydney. Drivers concentrating, waiting for that red light to come on now. They've been given the all clear. Round 4 of the 88 Motorcraft Formula Ford Driver to Europe Series. Steve Moody has pole position alongside him, Mark Larkham. And away goes the field, and a very big field indeed. Carpenter switches to the inside of the road, makes a run. Mike Mortimer goes through. Andrew Gubb in the middle, car number 9. Larkham on the outside in the yellow car. And I think it's going to be Gubb who might just have the advantage as they sweep left. Larkham, though, going very quickly. A couple of cars tangle up, in a big way. One of the blues is the front right. That's car number 66, Chris Maddich. And David Roberts involved in the Duckham's Van Diemen. He'll be very disappointed. One of the prolific point scorers. Maddich, the son of Frank Maddich, Australian driving champion from years gone by. David Roberts, the leader in the point series with 47 points, and he's going to be very, very disappointed and distressed that he won't score points this weekend. Mark Larkham, the leader. The car, at least I think 50% of it, purchased by a consortium of businesses in Griffith in New South Wales. We spoke about Mark and his performances last year. He hasn't done a full season of Formula Ford before, but plans on doing one this year. He did a bunch of races in '87. What a great start from him. He's about 2 car lengths in front of Andrew Gubb, who's pressing hard. So we're minus David Roberts and Chris Maddich already. I think Martin Carpenter has eased through into 3rd place now in the Van Diemen Australia car. No, it's Mortimer. And then Garry Jones up to 4th place in car number 6. That's a great performance in the Westfield entry. I know we've spoken about Garry's aspirations in touring car racing. Then we've got Martin Carpenter. Steve Moody really getting bustled out. He's doing a great job in car number 17 from Geelong. One of the older competitors in Formula Ford. Had a decent fang at the series a few years back, but now gets himself back into really competitive machinery. I think the first time he drove the new Van Diemen was at Winton, which was the opening round, I think, of the title for this year. So Larkham leads from Gubb, then Mortimer, then Garry Jones just peering over the perspex. And they've already spread out quite considerably on this opening lap. A yellow flag being displayed to the drivers. Andrew Gubb acknowledges that. I don't know whether Mike Mortimer saw it. Oh, and Andrew Gubb very, very angry and quite rightly points to Mike Mortimer for being a naughty boy. And the officials will be onto that. Yellow flag indicates to a driver that there's a problem on the circuit, there's some danger. You're supposed to acknowledge the flag, back off, hold your position and exercise a bit of caution. Mike Mortimer grabbed a spot out of it. They'll talk about that one later on. Garry Jones in 4th, Martin Carpenter, I think, behind. Car number 3, Martin Carpenter. Struggling his way back up through the points at the moment. Had a great scrap in the second round of the championship at Adelaide. And he and David Roberts were really hammer and tong right up until the last corner of the last lap, and it fell in favour of David Roberts, who's picked up some backing this year from Duckham's. So it's Larkham. And then really charging is Mike Mortimer in 2nd place, and then in 3rd place and just dropping back a little bit was Andrew Gubb. And he'll probably be a little bit frustrated and have to settle down after being passed down the front straight the last time through. Martin Carpenter easing a little bit closer all the time.
Here today at Sandown. Mortimer, race leader, and here's Andrew Gubb making his move as well. Mike Mortimer, Andrew Gubb playing the waiting game at this stage. Garry Jones also well positioned there as they come up the back straight at Sandown.
To look at the point score in this class at the moment, and David Roberts, as I said before, with 47, then Robert Bennett with 35, Andrew Gubb with 30, Garry Jones 27, Simon Kane with 18, sharing 18 points with Mark Larkham, and then Martin Carpenter with 15. So Roberts out of contention. A handy lead though, but it's going to get knocked around severely this weekend. Mortimer's he spears off.
Fun and games in this race, isn't it?
Tell you what, it's fun and games in the commentary box too.
I'll speak for yourself.
So Larkham leads Mike Mortimer.
Continues now for the lead as they come down Sandown's front straight. Still Mike Mortimer doing a good job here. Gubb still sitting back there in 3rd. He's made a couple of handy moves. Mark Larkham still sits in 2nd as they exit that turn and work up the back straight.
There's plenty of guys using the dirt and the grass here at the moment. So Mortimer with the lead. I think it's the first time we've seen him lead one of these events this year. I may stand corrected, but he's doing a great job. Larkham now coming under some pressure from Andrew Gubb.
Actually, the scrap up front is very, very entertaining. Garry Jones in there as well.
Mortimer comes back through on the inside, Larkham on the outside. Now they switch lines again. Can't emphasise how strong and how good this class of racing is at the moment. It's just sensational. Very little between the top 10 guys in the class, and that's being demonstrated quite clearly now.
Laps the distance for today's round of the Motorcraft Formula 4 Driver to Europe Series. That round Sandown is quite a ways.
I reckon, if anything, this battle is starting to close up, and that's confirmed on our Castrol scoreboard. Mark Larkham leads from Mike Mortimer, Andrew Gubb in third, Martin Carpenter still pressing hard in fourth in car number 3, and rounding out the top 5, Garry Jones. We've got more action to come straight after the break.
Welcome back to Sandown International Raceway. We're on lap 6 of 10 in the Motorcraft Formula 4 Driver to Europe Series. Race leader is still Mike Mortimer over Mark Larkham. But it's getting pretty tight back behind them, Neil Crompton.
Yes, it's really developing into a great scrap. Steve Moody, car number 17, getting a little sideways, then Garry Jones. Also mixed up in there is Roger Martin. This is Jones on screen at the moment. Been a couple of incidents. We might capture one of them on our NEC replay. We caught a lap or so ago. This is at the bottom of the straight. Somebody with a nose cone all out of shapes. Car number 71 goes round, takes another one with him. That's Michael Borland. 3 cars involved ultimately. They're playing for keeps in this round of the Motorcraft Formula 4 Driver to Europe Series, and so's Andrew Gubb. He comes out from behind Mark Larkham. So Mortimer it is in the foreground. There's Larkham just locking up a little bit as he turns in. Some assistance from the businesses of Griffith and also Coffee for Dandenong. I'm just thinking about the point score in all this. I guess the man that really stands to gain most is Andrew Gubb. 30 points, third in the series. Second at the moment, and doing a great job. Steve Moody still being chased by Garry Jones. There's scraps everywhere you look. There's really 10 cars that are involved in various battles at the moment. There's Roger Martin. He's in the yellow car.
Jones has been pressuring Moody pretty hard. He just can't find a way past that. Moody has been covering his tracks rather well. Mortimer and Larkham. Of course, they are now split by Andrew Gubb in the 2-day FM Formula Ford race hire machine. The feeling Larkham hasn't finished with Andrew Gubb yet. Andrew has his hands full here at the moment, though. Larkham coming again.
Andrew using his mirrors and just driving a little bit on the defensive side at the moment. He has to, because he's really got problems on his hands. Gubb scored 10 points in the opening round and a further 20 points in round 3 last weekend, but skipped the point score, and Adelaide had some problems there. There aren't too many drivers that'll get through the entire 9 rounds of this series scoring points. As David Roberts is finding out right at this minute. Oh, Larkham really went hard for the inside that time, and Andrew Gubb argued pretty ferociously. Oh, and round goes Larkham, gets out of shape, has a big spin, doesn't get collected by anybody.
Grabs another gear and off he goes. He was a very lucky boy.
Hard in the mouth stuff for Andrew Gubb. He says, thank goodness for that.
That's taken a little of the pressure off his shoulders.
Yeah. Larkham, though, is still in a top 10 position and can still get points out of all this, which is pretty interesting.
See whether or not Mortimer can open that gap. Here comes Andrew Gubb up.
Ooh, Steve Moody and Andrew Gubb were clanging wheels that time down the back straight. pretty dangerous stuff in open wheelers when you start rubbing wheels.
Here's our race leader, Mike Mortimer, doing it very comfortably in today's round. Comes back down through the infield section of racetrack. You'll be able to see the gap there that he holds. There's Andrew Gubb, still holding down second. Barely.
If ever Andrew wanted to test his skills under pressure, then it's this race, because he just spent lap after lap dealing with Mark Larkham. Now he's got to defend from a bunch including Moody and Martin Carpenter. Who else is mixed up in there? Garry Jones and also Roger Martin. Talk about a pressure race. Half the leading ranks of the Formula Ford brigade swamping him at the moment. We shouldn't forget the leader, Mike Mortimer, who's doing a great job. He's just disappeared and left this bunch.
There he goes. He's well clear and opening the gap all the time. Coming down. Lap 8 of 10 to remain, obviously, and the Motorcraft Formula Ford driver this Europe Series round. This is really getting tight here. Springing out Moody now on the inside. Thought about that Gubb wobbling around there. Martin Carpenter right amongst them. Garry Jones is there too. This is hard-beating stuff. So if Andrew Gubb thought he was off the hook, I don't think he is.
Ooh, Steve Moody climbs the ripple strip and gets out in the dirt a little bit, and that's allowed Roger Martin to have a sneak up on the inside. He's just taking a peek at the moment, still in the slipstream of Moody's car, probably just a little bit too far back, and Martin Carpenter has got Andrew Gubb. So Carpenter through. It's the new RF88 model Van Diemen, this lead white car, although not leading the race, of course, with Mike Mortimer disappearing into the distance at the moment.
So Martin Carpenter starting to power away now from Andrew Gubb. He was through that section of the racetrack. He's got a horde of challengers right on his tail though.
Carpenter went pretty well in the opening round, but you may recall he was adventurous to say the least in his race lines at Winton. Decided to go for a bit of grass here and there, and the officials took a dim view of it and swiped his points. But he got 15 points from round 2. Didn't score any points last weekend. So he's on the charge at the moment, and he really needs a score this weekend. Looks like he's going to get it. He's in second at the moment. Some doubt about Mike Mortimer passing under what looked like a yellow flag at the end of the straight, but that's not for us to decide. Now Andrew Gubb comes through on the inside. He drives down the gutter. You can look how dirty the track is, all covered in pieces of rubber and grit, dirt. It's pretty slippery down there. It's a question of trying to brake straight, and Andrew Gubb does it, but Carpenter gets all out of shape and tries to go beneath him.
Garry Jones gets in for a piece of the action as well.
Ooh, and they almost clang wheels again, and Garry Jones gets up on the outside of Carpenter. How easy is it to set off a chain reaction in this sort of racing? You can see how close these fellas are going. All the while, we've got Roger Martin and Steve Moody lapping it up.
Yes, that was pretty dangerous stuff, actually, in the marbles at the end of the fastest part of the circuit. You come down, you take out 4 or 5 cars with you. In the meantime, though, the man who has his hands full is Andrew Gubb.
Garry Jones is on the charge here. Big, brave move on the outside, trying to go round Martin Carpenter, and he does it.
It's a good move.
There's life in that old RF82 yet.
But it's not over as Carpenter comes charging back down underneath him again. Moody is there, keeping the pressure on them. But Gubb will lead this group out of that corner, still running in second. Jones is now up to third, Carpenter is fourth, and Moody is fifth. Andrew Gubb looks like he may have well resolved second place in today's round. You can forget the leader, he'll be down towards the checkered flag very shortly.
Mark Larkham, after his spin, is back in the pack there a bit at the moment. Lost a bit of ground. Pretty hard to get flustered like that and all excited and then recover as the checkered flag now comes out. Mike Mortimer will take the flag in a brilliant drive.
Both hands off the wheel.
Andrew Gubb for second. Oh, good one for third. And I reckon Garry Jones is just going to survive from Martin Carpenter, and does. Then Steve Moody, then Roger Martin. Oh, great stuff. Terrific, this fourth round of the Motorcraft Formula 4 Driver to Europe Series. And the winner, number 8, Mike Mortimer. He's wrapped, absolutely wrapped. His best result so far.
Why wouldn't he be? Drove a splendid race and was able to stay out of all the hassles back behind him. And that break he established over the field basically cemented his chance of greeting the flag first. Mortimer, the race winner. Andrew Gubb places in second. Garry Jones third. Martin Carpenter fourth. And Stephen Moody places fifth on our Castrol scoreboard.